Alrighty. So, little Miss Bella's here with me. Huh. Say I play with Mom and Mike plays with me. He goes, Scrunchy dog, Chinese dog, regular dog, Chinese dog. Because Mike's weird. Anyhow, that's not what we're talking about today, is it? No, it's not. Okay. Are you going to just sit there like that? Or are you going to move? Like, what you going to do? You going to get down? Huh? You going to get down? What are you going to do? Go lay down. Go. Go somewhere. No. Lay down, be a good girl. Can y'all call this dog?
No.
Yes.
Because me and Sissy are eating popcorn.
Okay.
We're probably going to eat it.
She can go in there.
Yeah.
Go. Go get brother. Go get him.
I'll make you laugh.
This child, I swear.
I'll make you bark and laugh.
Can you just tell your sister to call the dog? No.
Bella.
Caroline, call this dog.
Bella, Bella.
Can you get out of my camera,
No.
please? My God.
I'm trying to push it that way.
Okay, whatever. Okay, bye. Go to your room.
I'm getting.
Anyhow. So, you guys know I've been doing this whole, story of my life thing with this book. And some of it gets down pretty nitty-gritty. Last time I talked about my pets, top 10 things I remember about my childhood bedroom, things like that. Well, this one says to use all 5 senses and describe your childhood home. If you moved around a lot, describe the one you remember most. Well, I only moved twice in my childhood. Well, once. Moved once. So, what are you barking at? What are you barking at, dude? My goodness. What are you barking at, man? What are you barking at? Dog's crazy. So, yeah. I grew up on 5 acres in Central Florida, as you guys know. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Supposed to be a 2-car garage, but you could only fit 1 pickup truck in there, and then maybe a motorcycle, which we never used it for because it was full of stuff, like boxes and totes. And so was the attic. The laundry space was out in the garage, right next to the intake for the air conditioner. I think it was the intake. I don't know. It was a big ass box, and it went up to the attic and then out. So I guess it was the fan or something. I don't know. It was weird. So I'm gonna try this. Maybe, when it came to, smelling and tasting of that house, it usually smelled like whatever somebody had just cooked, when you walked in the door. We didn't use the front door. We used the back door. It was a hill. Well, the road was like this, and then it went down and up, and then flat, and the house sat up here. So we sat on the back of the acreage. And so we would just drive up and then around to the back of the house and park there, because we never went in through the garage because of the garage being so full. So we never used the actual driveway. We didn't even use the actual front door because that little patio had stuff all over it. So smell and taste wise, you smelled whatever somebody had just cooked when you walked in the back door because the microwave was right there. Because you literally walked into the dining room space or the den or whatever the crap it was supposed to be. And then the kitchen was there, and it was like a galley kitchen. So there was not a whole lot of room in that kitchen for there to be more than one person in there at a time. So if somebody had just cooked something either on the stove or in the microwave, you would smell that. Now, whenever you went to other parts of the house, like if you went to the living room, you would probably smell air freshener. And then if you went in the little teeny tiny hallway right behind the living room, you'd smell whatever was coming out of whichever bedroom. If you went towards my sister's, you'd smell some stuff that probably shouldn't have been in there. If you went towards my room, you usually smelled incense or candles because I'm a candle freak. If the bathroom door was closed, you did not open it because that usually meant you didn't want to. And the window was usually open, so then there was, airflow to drain that out. Outside, you usually smelled, like seasonal smells, like, pollen and whatever they were putting on the fields that they were harvesting or plowing to plant. There were still orange groves really close to the house, so when the orange trees would bloom, you smelled them, and it was fantastic until you started sneezing. As far as hearing, you would hear whatever was going on at the time when you walked in the door. If somebody was using the microwave, you heard the microwave going. If my mother was home and was at the computer, you heard whatever game she was playing. When Grandpa still lived there, if he was awake, you heard his TV going or his radio. If it was a day when we were off school, you'd hear the big TV in the living room going. Once we got a little bit older, like in our teenage years, you usually heard, like, whatever video game we were playing, whatever Wii game we were playing, which was usually Rock Band. If it was a Friday night, you heard whatever movies we were playing because we had friends over, or whatever music we were playing because we had friends over. If you went out in the garage, before Grandpa was put in a nursing home, you'd hear power tools going because Grandpa was a very handy person. Or you'd hear the wash machine going because somebody would be doing washing or drying. If you went towards bedrooms, you'd hear music and or TV or one of us on the phone. So just typical house noises. And at some point you would hear a dog bark or a cat meow because they'd be fighting with each other or whatever. As far as feeling, it, like, touch-wise, it felt cramped in certain areas because of all the stuff that we had. Like, there were boxes out the yin-yang, okay, in that garage. Like, boxes. I'm 5'5", and there was a stack right in the middle of the garage that was taller than me, okay? It was insanity. So certain areas of the house would feel cramped because of that. The kitchen for sure felt cramped because it was a real tiny galley kitchen and it was insanity. So it was a very cramped space. But the rest of the house was, like, open per se. Just because of how the doors were always open. The front doors were never locked. Like, the garage was never locked. No. Sorry, dog. And it was just like a free-for-all. Like, the animals came and went, people came and went. Like, there was no, like, curfew or anything like that. Like, we didn't lock the animals in the house at night. We didn't lock doors when we went to bed or anything like that. It was a free-for-all. But It was also, like, the sense of, like, I don't want to say dirty, because it wasn't dirty, but it was cluttered. Like, there was always dishes in the sink. There was always a pile of laundry in the garage. There was always pillows and blankets on the couch, because there was always somebody spending the night. Always. There was always a pile of paperwork on the kitchen table. We never used the kitchen table. If you were eating sitting on the couch, or in the recliner, or in your room, or in front of the computer. So, the kitchen table was covered in paperwork. So it was extremely cluttered. It was not hoarder cluttered. It was just stuff everywhere. And I've picked up on a lot of that. Like, I do that now, but I'm really, really low on that spectrum compared to how my childhood house was. Like, my house is considered clean compared to my childhood home. But we also had a sense of fun because we didn't have curfews. We didn't really have rules. It was, as long as your homework's done, I don't care. So, when we got a little bit older, I'm trying to remember, I was in, I want to say 8th grade, I think. 8th or 9th grade. I can't remember. We got 4-wheelers. As long as your homework was done, 4-wheelers were full on. Like, you could do it all day and all night because they had headlights. We could do whatever we wanted. We could play our video games all day and all night as long as we got up and went to school. If you were dog-ass tired, that was your fault because you stayed up all night playing frickin', whatever video game you were playing. When I graduated high school, I was 17, and I was working and helping out at the house and stuff. And when I started having my own paychecks, I was allowed to do whatever the crap I wanted. So, one night, it was a weekend when my father was home, we had a routine of what we did when we knew he was coming home. We made sure there was always Budweiser in the house, regular, original, red label Budweiser. We made sure he had plenty of cigarettes, which was Camel non-filter. Oh my god. Christian Brothers brandy, case in point, name. And we always went to Publix and got deli meats from the deli. We did not go to the refrigerator section and buy the pre-packaged deli meats. We got the, where you went to the deli, had them slice it, and bring it home. And we would get that, and then we'd get the Publix potato salad, macaroni salad, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and baked beans. And we made sure there was enough of that for like the next 3 days because he was only home for like 3 or 4 days. And one weekend he was home and I said, ew, gross, that stinks, talking about the Budweiser. And my dad said, well, here, try it. And I took a mouthful and I spit it back out because it was gross. And he said, you don't like it? I said, no, I don't. He said, well, here, try this. And handed me a shot glass full of brandy. And I drank that. And I said, whoo, that burned, but it was good. He's like, you want another one? And that's when I started drinking, man. Now, I was not like a, get wasted every single day kind of drinker. But if I knew I was off for the next 2 days, my mom was given money and was told to go to the liquor store. And we had a drive-through liquor store. You pulled up, showed them your ID, told them what you wanted, they'd get it, they'd ring it up, they'd hand it to you, give you your ID back until you got home. So I started having parties. We actually, I turned 18. We actually ended up, we had these big evergreen trees that lined the main concrete driveway that was up against the house. And, they started turning brown. They started dying. And so we cut them down. and we pulled them around back with a chain tied to a truck and dug a big friggin' hole. And it became the drink pit. We'd sit out there and drink while we watched a tree burn, and we'd burn one every weekend. And we'd sit there and we'd drink and wait for the fire to smolder out, and then we'd go to bed. Next weekend, if that tree still had some left on it, we'd light it back up and we'd drink again. And I was 17, 18 years old, so my house was like the fun house. Like, you came over, gave Mom your keys and your cell phone, and you'd go out and you drank. And that was it. That's all we did. So, I mean, smell, sight, taste, sound. Right? Smell, sight, taste. What? Stop. No. Yeah. So, that. Hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling. Yep, that's all of them. So, I mean, whatever. What was distinctive about your hometown? Orange groves. There was orange groves. As I got older, got closer to high school, a lot of the dirt roads got paved over. Mine did, and it got put all the way through out to the main highway. We had this tower out on one of the main highways that was called the Citrus Tower, and you could ride it to the top and stand out there and see all across the neighborhood. And you could see where all the orange groves were. It was awesome. We had a restaurant called The Crown that eventually got turned into a bar, I think, and it was really crappy. It's trashy as crap now, from what I understand. And we also had a retirement community. It was mostly old people. Well, we called them old people. They were, I think it was like 55 and up, something like that. It had a golf course and a clubhouse. They had their own maintenance people. And there were big houses, there were little houses. There was like condos where it was like two of them together. Like, there was a door here and a door here, but there was like a wall dividing the two apart for people that didn't want a lot of yard and a lot of space. And I mean, we had that. It was called Kings Ridge. But that was just like right there in my town. They built all sorts of friggin' housing developments. Like, we had houses that were like this far apart. It was ridiculous, okay? I was happy to have my 5 acres. And when I moved to North Carolina, I was like, I will never live that close to somebody, ever. And I never have. And I'm so glad. As far as figures from the community that stand out to me, my high school principal, Dr. Cole, was friggin' awesome. I loved her. Trying to think. Mr. Wayne from Bees Auto. He was freaking hilarious. That man did not care. He had a long friggin' beard, a long friggin' ponytail, was a mechanic like you'd never believe. I think he did some motorcycle stuff too, if I remember right. And I mean, he did not care. He'd tell you what he thought in a heartbeat. And he was the same way with the county. Like, I remember there was something with the city and the county and some ordinances and stuff, and he went off on them. He did not care at all. My middle school principal was awesome too, Dr. Cuddy. He was hilarious. Trying to think, like, I mean, just everybody I can think of was teachers and stuff, because I didn't stay around to be there as an adult. Like, I left at 18. So, I mean, other than my principals and a handful of my teachers, like, there wasn't really anybody that I can say stood out to me. But that was it for my hometown. when school let out for the summer, I spent those warm weeks doing blank. Well, I hate to break it to you people, but Florida was warm all the time, so not just in summer, okay? It just got worse in the summer. I usually spent my summers four-wheeling, playing PlayStation, going to the beach, going to Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure because I was a pass holder. I'd have friends who would get me into Disney because their parents worked there. We went to Busch Gardens. We ended up getting Busch Gardens passes. And what's the other park that was there? It was Busch Gardens and something else. What the crap was it? Busch Gardens. And they were in Tampa. And I'm trying to remember what else they had. There was Busch Gardens, and then they had like a water park. What the crap was it called? I'm about to find out because I'm Googling it because I cannot freaking remember. It was Busch Gardens, obviously. Thank you, Google. I know. Trying to remember what else it was. There's Busch Gardens. There's something else out there. What the crap was it, you guys? Adventure Island. That's what it was. We used to go there too, because we had passes to them. And then at one point I had passes to SeaWorld and whatever the crap their water park was. And so we rotate. Like one summer we'd get Universal and IOA. The next one we'd get Busch Gardens and Adventure Island, and the next summer we'd get SeaWorld. So like we just rotated. But we never were Disney pass holders because that crap is expensive. Even when my parents worked for Disney, we did not have passes. And then, of course, since I lived in Central Florida, Daytona was only 45 minutes, so we'd go to the beach. We went to Daytona a few times. We went to Cocoa Beach, I think it was, and somewhere else. And, I mean, we just would find things to do. When I got older, we went to Celebration. We would go to Mall at Millennia a lot. Somewhere else we used to go. We went to Mall at Millennia. We go to the Florida Mall that was out by the airport that had a hotel built into the friggin' mall. It was insanity. I mean, once I was old enough to drive and I was driving, me and my friends went everywhere that we possibly could without getting in trouble. I mean, that's what we did, because as long as our parents could get a hold of us with our cell phones at some point in time, they didn't care. Now, if we were going out somewhere that was far away from home, we had to be home, or at least close to home, within a certain time frame. Simply because, we were teenagers and we were more than, 10 miles from home or whatever. So, yeah. But, I mean, and we did that even on weekends, so I can't say that it was just on the summer. So, I mean, there were weekends we'd just go spend all day Saturday at Universal. So, yeah, I guess that's the perks of living in Central Florida. Yeah. And this last one I'm gonna do, says to describe an illness or injury that stands out in your memory. what happened, how long did it take to recover, and what do you remember from the recovery? I've never had any kind of major injury, like broken bones or anything. And I've never had a major illness that I can remember. Now, I did have meningitis as a baby. I was actually 13 months old, so I don't remember that. But I remember my wisdom teeth coming in, and that crap hurt. I was at work, and I was in pain to where I could not do my job. And, I mean, I wasn't like a stock associate or anything. I worked the fitting room. I stood there and answered phones and let you into the fitting rooms. And I was in so much pain, I could not even do that. Like, it hurt me to talk. So I remember calling my mother, telling her I was going to clock out early and I was going to wait for my boyfriend to get off work because he was getting off work in 10 minutes, and we worked together. He worked at Walmart. He worked over in the toys department. I worked the fitting room. And I called my mother. I said, I'm going to have him bring me home. I can't do this. I need you to call whoever you got to call about these teeth because I cannot do this. And I remember telling my boss, hey, I don't know how long I'm going to be out because this crap hurts and I just can't do it. And so I clocked out. My boyfriend clocked out a few minutes later, and I went home and I took the largest dose of Tylenol that I could for my age at the time, and I went the crap to sleep. And I stayed asleep. The next morning, I did not go to school. I did not go to work. And I remember my mother taking me to the oral surgeon, and I had already taken, some kind of medicine, like ibuprofen or Tylenol, one of the two. I don't freaking know. But I took one of them. And, back then I was a wimp when it came to pain, so I took something. I don't know what it was. And I took, a friggin' stuffed animal with me. It was actually, a frog that my boyfriend at the time had bought me. It was a Build-A-Bear frog. And it has a, lettered jacket, like a varsity jacket, because he played football. And I bought him a teddy bear with that jacket on it for his graduation. And so when he took me to get that frog, he gave her the jacket, like boyfriend giving girlfriend his jacket. And I took that with me, and I took my iPod, and I put my headphones in, and I laid back in the chair, and he put a block in my mouth so that my jaw would stay open, because I told him I would probably fall asleep from the nitrous, which I did. He injected my mouth with the Novocaine. He put the nitrous mask on my face, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up, my mouth was swollen. I didn't feel anything until an hour or two later. And when that all wore off, I was hurting. I was mad. I looked like a chipmunk. My face was swole out. I had bruises here, and I had bruises here. I missed a week of school and a week of work. So I was a little bit PO'd because I lost a whole week's pay. But I didn't have to go to school for a week. And I got to live on ice cream and pudding and anything that was mushy. And so I was excited. But other than that, I've never had anything major, really happen. And so I was pretty excited about the fact that I got to get out of school and work for a week. And I mean, other than that, I've never had anything happen. And I mean, when I was a kid anyway. I mean, since then, of course, I've had seizures. I've had 2 kids. But nothing surgical, ever. And I think that's a pretty good thing. So that's all I got. I'll record you guys some more stuff probably Saturday and upload it Saturday night, because tomorrow I go back to my internship, and it's 8 to 5 Tuesday through Friday, It's an hour drive from my house to get there and an hour drive back. So it's going to take some time. And I won't have any, like after work time to be able to do this. So I will definitely record you guys some more stuff on Saturday and upload it. I'll probably record it Saturday morning. Well, no, because I got to take kids to their dad this Saturday. I'll record it probably Saturday afternoon and upload it Saturday afternoon. And I'll record my Monday video too and upload it Monday morning. I'll probably just set it on a timer to where YouTube will automatically submit it. And that way you guys will have some content. And I'm going to try my hardest to make it to where this stays regular. But I can't make guarantees about it, you guys. Because I don't know what this internship's going to turn into. This is only going to be week 2. And I'm also taking a psych class to kind of boost my GPA and everything. So we'll see what happens. Plus I'm still in my sorority. And I have 2 kids. And a house. And a boyfriend. So I'm kind of stretched thin. Now if only that stretching thin would work on this. Be great, wouldn't it? A girl can dream, you guys. A girl can dream. But that's all I got for now, you guys. Again, if you got anything you want me to talk about, just shoot me a message on Facebook or comment on here. And I'm gonna go find some lunch, you guys. Y'all be good.